Imagine, if you will, the early 19th century America, a time of great change and even greater ambition. This was an era when the ink was barely dry on the Louisiana Purchase, a monumental land deal that doubled the size of the United States, setting the stage for the westward expansion.
Pulling right out the gate, pulling, how much weight? From the little guys to the massive ones, the team and drivers are having fun. Start 'em off with the boat very light, then add weight to make it a fight.
It was an age of pioneers, of a nation stretching its boundaries into the unknown, driven by the promise of prosperity, adventure, and a fresh start. But let's not forget the unsung heroes of this era, the horses. These magnificent beasts were the engines of this great expansion, the primary mode of transportation and labor. They pulled wagons, carried mail, plowed fields, and even served in battle. Their strength, endurance, and loyalty made the seemingly impossible journey achievable, turning the wild frontier into a land of opportunity. The stage was set for a dramatic shift in the American landscape, with horses at the helm. Horses, often overlooked in history, played a pivotal role in the westward expansion. Now, let's saddle up and gallop into the heart of the matter. Horses were the engines of their day, the primary means of transportation. They carried pioneers across vast plains, through treacherous mountain passes, and along the winding trails that led to the promise of a new life in the West. They bore the weight of wagons laden with provisions and hopes of a better future. Without these equine companions, the journey would have been slower and more dangerous, with settlers exposed to the unpredictable elements and potential threats for longer durations. But their role didn't stop at transportation. Horses were also invaluable assets on the farms that sprouted up across the new frontier. They plowed fields, hauled loads, and helped in building homes. Their strength and endurance were unmatched, making them essential in turning the wilderness into habitable land. Now imagine the scene of a battlefield. Here, too, horses were crucial. They carried soldiers swiftly into combat, providing a mobile platform for fighting. From the American Revolution to the Civil War, horses were a part of the military strategy, their speed and agility often turning the tide of battles. In this era of expansion, certain breeds of horses stood out, shaping the landscape and the people's way of life. One such breed was the Mustang. Descendants of Spanish horses brought over by explorers, these hardy and adaptable animals were perfectly suited to the harsh conditions of the American West. They became the favored mount of many settlers, lauded for their stamina and resilience. So, as we delve deeper into the history of the West, let's not forget the four-legged companions that made it all possible. From transportation to farming and even in battles, horses were the silent heroes of this era. Without horses, the westward expansion would have been a far more arduous task. The journey west was fraught with dangers and challenges, many of which were overcome with the help of horses. The pioneers' trek across the continent was no leisurely stroll. It was a grueling test of endurance, a battle against the elements, and a journey into the unknown. The weather was a relentless adversary, from the scorching heat of the desert plains to the bone-chilling cold of the mountain passes. Torrential rains turned wagon trails into quagmires, while blizzards could stall a caravan for days. But horses, with their strength and stamina, trudged through the mud and the snow, carrying their human companions towards the promise of a better life. Disease was another merciless foe. Cholera, typhoid, and dysentery stalked the wagon trains, cutting down men, women, and children in their prime. Yet horses were often the lifeline in these desperate times. Their speed allowed for messages to be sent for help or for supplies to be fetched from nearby settlements. Conflict with Native Americans was an ever-present threat. Clashes could erupt over territory, resources, or simple misunderstandings. Here, too, horses played a pivotal role. They were crucial in scouting for potential threats, in carrying pioneers to safety, and in some unfortunate instances, in the heat of battle. And then there were the personal challenges. The mental toll of the journey could be just as devastating as the physical hardships. Loneliness, fear, and doubt haunted the pioneers, but the companionship of horses often offered a source of comfort. The bond between a pioneer and his horse was not just one of utility, but of mutual trust and understanding. In the face of adversity, horses proved to be indispensable companions. They bore the burdens of the journey, both literal and metaphorical, sharing in the pioneers' struggles and triumphs. Their hooves carved a path through the wilderness. Their hearts beat in sync with the hopes and dreams of those they carried. Indeed, the story of the westward expansion is as much about the horses as it is about the humans they served. As gold fever swept the nation and the cowboy era began, horses were there every step of the way. The gold rush of 1849 was a transformative period in American history. The news of gold brought some 300,000 people to California from the rest of the United States and abroad. These prospectors, or 49ers as they were known, faced a daunting journey. But they weren't alone. Their trusted companions, horses, were right there with them, bearing the burden of the journey and the rigorous labor of mining. Horses became the backbone of the gold rush. They carried equipment, pulled wagons, and helped in the excavation process. Their strength and resilience played a crucial role in the extraction of gold, making these noble animals an indispensable part of the mining operations. But the influence of horses didn't stop with the gold rush. As the gold yields dwindled and the prospectors moved on, a new era dawned, the era of the cowboy. And once again, horses found themselves at the heart of this transformative period. The cowboy era was marked by the rise of cattle herding across the sprawling ranches of the West. Cowboys, those iconic figures of American folklore, relied heavily on their horses. These animals were not just tools for work, they were partners. They helped herd cattle, covering vast distances and navigating challenging terrains. Moreover, horses were critical in the transportation industry of the time. They pulled stagecoaches and freight wagons, connecting remote towns and fostering trade and communication. They were the engines that powered the West, enabling the spread of people, goods, and ideas across this vast frontier. And so, through the glint of gold and the dust of cattle drives, horses were the unsung heroes. They carried the weight of dreams and ambitions, of industries and economies. They were the faithful companions of those who dared to venture into the unknown, the tireless workers who helped shape the landscape of the American West. In the glimmer of gold and the dust of cattle drives, horses were the unsung heroes. Even after the expansion, the legacy of horses in the West lived on. The horse, this magnificent creature, continued to play a vital role long after the wagon trains came to a halt and the gold mines were tapped out. You see, the horse was not simply a tool of exploration or a beast of burden. It was and remains an integral part of the very fabric of the American West. In the realm of practicality, horses remained essential. They were indispensable in the vast cattle ranches that sprung up, their speed and agility unmatched in the tasks of herding and roping. The cowboy, that iconic figure of Western lore, would be but a shadow of himself without his trusty steed. But beyond the practical, horses held a deeper significance. They became a symbol of the West itself, embodying the values of strength, freedom, and rugged individualism that the region holds dear. They found their way into art, literature, and the hearts of those who called the West home. Now let's gallop forward to today. The importance of horses has not diminished. They are still used in ranch work, in competitive sports, and for leisure activities. The bond between horse and rider remains as strong as ever, a testament to the enduring partnership that helped shape a nation. And what about the wild horses, those untamed spirits of the plains? Efforts have been made to preserve these herds, to allow them to roam free as a living reminder of the West's wild past. These wild herds, with their unbroken spirit, stand as a symbol of the West's untamed heart. From the early days of expansion to the modern West, horses have remained a constant, a testament to their enduring legacy. They have carried us through history, and in many ways, they carry the history of the West within them. The legacy of horses in the West is not merely a tale of the past. It's a story that continues to be written with every hoofbeat that echoes across the plains. So, as we look back on the westward expansion, we see a journey marked by ambition, struggle, and the indomitable spirit of both man and horse. From the dawn of westward expansion, horses were pivotal in the journey towards a new frontier. They became the beating heart of this vast movement, an indispensable partner to the pioneers who dared to imagine a life beyond the familiar. The role of horses was multifaceted. They were not only a means of transportation, but also a source of companionship, a tool for labor, and a beacon of hope amid the daunting challenges of the journey. Their strength and resilience were integral in overcoming the harsh conditions of the Wild West. In the gold rush and the cowboy era, horses took on an even more significant role, shifting the economic and cultural landscape of the West. Their legacy endures to this day, shaping our understanding of this pivotal period in history. In the grand tapestry of American history, the thread of the horse runs deep and true, a symbol of the West as much as the pioneers who tamed it.
Pulling right out the gate, pulling how much weight? From the little guys to the massive ones, the team and drivers are having fun. Start 'em off with the boat very light, then add weight to make it a fight. In unison, every team must work, digging together, tearing up the dirt. The horses soon hear go, go, go. They'll give a throttle till they hear whoa. Good luck to all who put on a show. They all competitors that we know. It'll soon be over, that's no bull. We'll be back soon to watch the next horse pull.
Please subscribe to Everything Horses. Thanks for watching.